Cassie, I was talking to Mom today.
Uh-oh.
She was telling me some stories about. See, we've known you since you was a little tiny girl,
Right.
just a baby.
Yes.
All right. And she said you and your sister said they'd been to church, and she talks all about your mom. She says that your mom has always been her best friend in the whole world. She said nobody will ever be a better friend to her than Barbara. She just talks about your mom like that. But she said y'all were at church one night and had a big revival at the Church of God, and said that they were people falling out on the floor, and said when they went to your mom's house or where it was, I don't know, wherever you lived after, and said y'all had a mattress on the floor and you was practicing praying for each other, making each other fall out on the floor. She said that y'all were just laying it on each other. That's pretty cool, ain't it?
And we baptized each other in the swimming pool.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I was thinking, poor little Colson, he's been baptized 50 times. My son has, but we baptized him all over the world.
That's
Every
right.
time they have a baptism. I was in Jamaica one time, and we were baptizing people in a big tent revival, and and I looked down there, he was in line. I got a picture of him. He got right in line, and I don't know, but let's talk something about praise and worship.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
You're extremely gifted in that area. I mean, and that takes a lot to do that, okay? And not only are you gifted, you're faithful. That's a difference, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, we've had people that we've all known that were gifted. Sean Helmendaler, okay? Gifted guy, okay? But just had them battles and never could do it, You know what he goes by now? Sean Mann. Yeah, I message him all the time. I laugh. He's got a long beard and singing in some bar. But I mean, yeah. But I mean, Janice and I talk about what a waste it is,
Yeah.
okay, in people's lives that got gifts.
Yeah.
But the challenge, it seems like, for gifted people, because you have a different type of mind, okay? People that are not gifted, like me, I don't have that. I'm more black and white and beige,
Right.
okay? But you're, okay, so that's a challenge, ain't it?
It is. It is. Yeah. And to be faithful in the little things, not just the big things.
Right.
I truly believe that just attendance, church attendance,
Right.
and help in any way that you can, I think is the little things. And then it just grows. It just grows,
Yeah, and I think that's an important. I think it's the most valuable gift you have is be faithful.
It is.
Okay, and now that don't mean you want to sink with the ship.
That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
You don't want to
Yeah.
stand there like you're on the Titanic and
No.
say I'm sticking with the boat.
Right.
But you turn around and you say I want to make sure that I'm faithful in what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Faithful in the job and the task that you have to do, and staying with that and working with that.
Yes.
And I think that's really important, and I
Right.
think you do that.
Well, thank you.
Okay, you do that. But we've known each other a long time. I think about old Glenn. He's a hoot, ain't he?
I love Glenn. Me and Glenn go way back.
I tickled to death watching him and listening to him. I seen him at the gym the other day, and he's all muscular. You know what I mean? He's telling me about everything he's doing, and he's come down. I remember when he was half dead. He got sick, he come through stuff, man.
He's got a great testimony.
Yeah,
Great
he
testimony.
really is, and just really, really, I enjoy him. Enjoy that,
Yeah.
and he's got gifts. Glenn's gifted.
does.
He really is. But I think the times we come through a lot of stuff. I mean, I think about the Church of God back when Alex Day was there. That was a hoot.
Yeah.
And that was a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that we knew over the period of time that have disappeared. And,
Right.
I interviewed Brian Hite's wife a while back and interviewed her. Think about her from being in the Sunday school class.
Absolutely.
Davina. I think about her and the people we've known in our life. And like I said, memories, you don't know their memories when you're making them. You think it's another day.
Yeah.
Just another day. And, when you think about praise and worship, I mean, what's the big deal? Do we really need it, or is it a waste of time, or should we get on with church?
We were created to worship. And some people may disagree with me, but praise and worship is much more than just getting up and singing or performing. We were created to worship Him. And, I was talking with the pastor the other night. He and I he's very on my level with praise and worship, and we were discussing it, and I said, people always, you got to have the word. Yes, you do, but what they don't realize is a lot of praise and worship contains the word, and you get that in your spirit, and you get it in your heart, and praise and worship, it sets the scene. It invites the presence of God in, and it's very. I don't want to put a percentage on how much but in relationship to the church service, in my heart, it plays a very big role. Very big role.
I think it positions the minister next. If there's going to be a ministry of the word, it sort of positions it with the hearts, prepares the hearts.
It does.
I mean, and I know we say, we all ought to get ready before we come to church, but that all sounds good.
Right.
But I mean, and it would be great if we did.
Right.
But I mean, getting in there, and I don't know. I think sometimes it gets, and when you're there going to minister, you're sort of anticipating you're ready to go.
Right.
Okay. And I know we had Sudie.
Yeah.
Man,
Sudie.
she was tired. She was great praise and worship leader. She really was a good. But she has such a heart.
Yeah.
She really was honest with her
Yes.
heart, and she wanted to lead people into that.
Yes.
We've seen people like that. I think about that. Man, that was changed her name to Joy now.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah. I say Sudie.
She'll always be
She
Sudie
call
to
whatever
us.
she wants to call
Always,
herself. It's fun. I've got a pair of her glasses that she wore when she worked for me.
Yeah.
And I somehow still got them. I use them sometimes. They're very very ugly, and but I have never lost them. I've lost 20 pairs since, 100 pairs since then. But I think about when we think about the strength of praise and worship. Well, what do you think? What do you think makes good praise and worship?
Gosh, that's a hard question.
Yes, it is.
It's not really one you can kind of put into words. I think, like you said, it's the heart, and you have to come with a pure, clean heart, and you just really have to let God do what He wants to do.
Right.
And sometimes we have to throw our agendas out the window and just let Him do what He wants to do, and that's easier said than done.
Yeah. Well, especially when you got the words up on the wall.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
and
is.
you're trying to follow everything, and and I've been in all kinds of stuff and seen all kinds of
Right.
things for years. Sometimes you got to flow, and
Yeah.
if you'll flow, the Spirit will flow with you.
Right.
Seems to me like that, and sometimes I don't want too many words.
That's what I was
that make sense?
talking with Pastor the other day, and I said, I think songs are too wordy.
Yeah.
And you want to sing something that they don't have to worry about getting all the lyrics in
Right.
and the timing. I said, you want to sing that song Hallelujah
Yeah.
that we used to sing years ago. It had one word in it.
Yeah. Well, our
You know.
God's an awesome God.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sometimes it needs to really be simplified. If you
I
can't,
agree.
if you can't sing something and they go home and remember it,
Right.
then you've overdone it. And so I'm all about simplicity. And I like a verse and a chorus and a bridge.
Right.
That's fine. But I'm all about keeping it simple. Keeping it simple.
I think that too, and I think what we have to do when you're sitting in the congregation and you're trying to go with praise and worship, you're trying to do it, you sort of want to enter
Right.
that place of prayer and singing.
Yes.
And if you have to constantly look up and
Right.
follow the words,
Right.
you sort of sometimes I get off
you
track. I
can't-
just
yeah.
follow through.
If you're like me, I can't do two things
I
at
become
once.
robotic.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I become robotic, and I just go through it, and I say, all
Right.
right, how long is this going to be till it's over?
Right.
So I can go ahead and sit down.
Right.
And that's just from the spectator point.
Right.
You sort of get in there, and you might still be enjoying yourself, but everybody else is wondering.
Well,
when
and
you're
that's part of my job as a worship leader is to make sure the congregation is engaging.
Right.
And if I'm in my own little world, and I'm like you said, I may be having a good time, but if they're standing there just look, this isn't working. So I mean, it's all about it's a team effort.
right. I think that too, and you lead it and not make it so hard.
Right,
It's
right.
a prayer. I think a praise actually. I don't know. It's a prayer that we're praying.
Yeah.
And so, when did you really in your life feel like you really called to do praise and worship?
Well, I started out, in in the 1980s, we didn't call it praise and worship.
Right.
We called it singing. You
Right,
go
right.
help us sing. Okay. We didn't have a technical name for it. And so I started out, I was probably in my teenage years, and I traveled with you some and sang, and we didn't call it praise and worship then. We just
Open the service.
Opened the service, and that's what we did. We had praise and
Right.
worship. But I think the best experience was when the Brownsville revival broke out, and that particular, I think it was 1995 maybe when that happened. Anyway, that opened my vision to a whole different realm of music. And something happened during that time period that just grabbed my heart. And I knew, and then I kind of gravitated, because, but up until then we called them courses. We
Right.
didn't call them praise and worship.
Right.
We sang little courses. And I kind of gravitated toward the praise and worship. And it was like I found my niche, and I really had a heart for it. And I think my very first praise and worship leader position, 1997 or something like that, I think was the first. And I was in my 20s, mind you. So I have I had a lot to learn. I'm 53 now, and I've come a long way. But I wouldn't take anything for all the bad and good experiences
Right.
that I've had, because
Yeah.
it makes me what I am today. I'm stronger, and I know where I'm going. I
Right. know
what my style is,
Right.
and but yeah, so I just it's finally you find yourself,
Yeah. And I think that's important as you're sharing. Once you begin to find your spot,
Yes,
okay, then the pressure begins to come off.
yes,
Because you're not trying to be somebody else or
No.
somebody else's style or somebody else's. You become, and I think the whole thing too is you can't be robotic.
no,
And you really got to be able to flow with
Oh,
it,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
and be able to move in the spirit with everybody else, and be able to lead. And that doesn't mean everybody's got to be falling out and dancing on the pews,
Right.
But they ought to at least be looking and listening just a
Right.
little bit, and you can tell if they're with you. I
Oh,
guess.
yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Who
or
wants
not
to
with
climb
you.
that mountain by themselves?
I mean,
you know?
and just. I don't know. I think that's so important that we can begin to in praise and worship. But when I'm sitting from a spectator's point, and I
Right.
sit in every point you can sit in.
Right.
If I'm going to minister, I'm looking for who's ever doing praise and worship to begin to lead the people in and get them ready
Right.
for the word, to get the
Right.
ground ready, okay, for the word to be able to find fertile ground.
Right.
And then I
right.
want to see sometimes you can have praise and worship and go home. Okay, sometimes you can say, all right, now I know we can say, oh, bless God, you got to have the word. I understand you got to have the word, okay? But
Yeah.
it's about God's plan.
It is.
Okay? And
It is.
you got to let God move into a point, and He can do more in just a minute than we can around and round and round. And there need not to be the battle between praise and worship and the word.
Right. It's not a
Okay?
competition.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, and that needs to move in that
Right.
direction. And I think praise and worship too. You got to be able to hear. Okay, if you can't hear the person singing,
Right.
and you can't hear the piano thumping,
right.
you're sort of you're sort of at a disadvantage. That sucker's got to crank sometimes, okay? And not everybody likes it to crank. Now, I'm more, how I've always been.
I'm a cranker.
I'm more
yeah.
of I like the things thumping.
That's right.
And the music going, and
Right.
if it's going, then everything's starts to
Yeah.
move in the midst of with it too.
Right. I totally agree. Yeah.
I'm bad about things being loud. I've always done that.
I like it loud.
I've
Yeah.
just I don't know. I always have, and I think if people can hear, they'll begin to get
Yeah.
in the mood with you, and they'll
Yeah.
begin to flow with you.
Absolutely.
And they pick up on your spirit.
They do.
They pick
do.
up on your spirit, and they ought to.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
They ought to do it. Well, when you think about this thing, when you get ready for praise and worship, if you're at a church and you're beginning, and we're going to deal with a lot of other stuff, but we're going to talk about the Jesus stuff here in just a second. We'll open up a whole personal life later.
Oh Lord. Okay.
How do you get ready in your heart and your minds? If somebody said, "Hey, Cassie, I need you to would you come by Wednesday night at our church and do praise and worship?" What do you do?
As long as I'm not obligated,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I look at it as an opportunity. And, there's a lot of churches that don't have music, that don't have praise and worship, and they're hungry.
Right.
They're hungry for the move of God. And anytime, if I'm available, anytime.
But how do you get ready for that?
How do I get ready for that? I start my day off with praise and worship. I mean, you can't go out and like this evening, I went out to start my car and the battery was dead.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, it's 17 degrees. You can't go out and warm
Right.
up a car when it's that. You have to continually prep yourself. And on Sunday mornings, before I come to church, I have the music playing. I'm worshiping as I'm getting ready for church.
Right.
That's just part of it.
So when you sort of prepare, you've got to have your heart and your mind really
absolutely.
tuned in more than anything else around you.
And not just on Sunday, it's all through the week. All through the week.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, it's Colson. All right. So when we're going to have to do this, and these are things I've been thinking about, okay, because I began to think about praise and worship. What you got to do is to balance the music, the really music being just right, and the sensitivity of being able to have a move of the Spirit,
Right.
okay? Because I've seen people get out of whack because maybe the music wasn't just right or this didn't go
Right.
good, and they lose the whole spirit of the thing. To have the balance of, and we'll use the word excellence in music,
Right.
and the move of the Spirit. It's a thin line.
It is. And, you have to remember it's not a performance. Things aren't going to be perfect. This is worship.
Right.
Things get messy in worship. And, and I told my choir, we had choir practice last week, and I told them, I said, look, we're going to do these songs that I like. And I said, they're going to be Cassie style.
Yeah.
They're not going to be
Right.
an acoustic style or a drum. I mean, they're going to be our style.
Right.
And, I think you really need to get rid, and there's a lot of great worship leaders out there and performers, and I think we can get sucked into that and think we need all that before God can come down.
Yeah.
And we don't.
No.
We don't even need a piano.
Right.
We could sing
right.
without music and
Yeah.
we could just lift our voices and start worshiping.
Right.
Some of the best worship services have been with just the voices. I mean, so I think we have to get out of that of everything's going to be perfect. If the drums don't come in here,
Right. Yeah.
then it just messes the whole song up. No. I mean, whenever the drums come in, it's how it's meant to be,
Right. Well, I think you can, if you're not careful, you can over practice
Oh, absolutely.
to the point to where,
Yeah.
and I think sometimes, I've seen things get just a little bit over practiced,
Yeah.
to where it seems like you miss the move.
Oh, absolutely.
Of everything, and then I've listened to, I visit a lot of different churches,
Yeah.
and I've listened to some praise and worship, but sounded really good,
Right.
but I just couldn't get the move of the Spirit in the midst
Yeah.
of, and it could have been me. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't
Right.
me, all right, because maybe 2 rows over somebody was.
Yeah, right,
okay?
right, yeah.
But some things I just couldn't pick up on.
Right.
And couldn't get the move of it on, but I think getting ready, like you're talking about, being prepared, being able to hear it,
And
being
you've
able
got to
hear
have
it.
the anointing. You have to have that. I mean, I wouldn't want to do anything without that. And I hear some really, really good praise and worship. I mean, it's key on. I mean, it's on.
Yeah.
But like you said, it just doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
And but above anything else, I want the anointing.
And if you've got a freedom where you can do praise and worship and you can do that, I know some places they probably can't do it because
Right.
it's scripted to such a point.
Right.
And I know that's all out there, and I'm not saying it's all bad. I've went to big churches.
Right.
At Myrtle Beach, we used to go to a tremendous church, and man, they stepped out there. That music was just, baby, it was smoking.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean everything was just good, and they really seemed like they'd done a good job, And I felt the spirit with the thing, and Janice and I, we enjoyed it, but it was tunes, baby. It was right. They had everything was, and I know we can say, well, everything you do, you should do under the Lord. I got all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you got to allow for the move.
Oh, yeah.
And for God's
There's
Spirit
got to be
move
room. Yes.
in the midst
absolutely.
of all those things. And so I think about that
Yeah.
a lot. I tell you what, your mother could sing. Man, she could sing.
Yeah.
I just now remembered that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd tear up Jack.
She sings low. I sing high. She sings low.
She sings like that. She sings lower than me.
She does.
Yeah, her voice.
Yes.
She would, her and Dad would sing together.
Oh,
Mom
yeah.
and gosh, I could never find nothing of that. But they would sing together. I remember 'em
Yeah.
growing up as so. There's a heritage.
There is.
Yeah.
There is. We traveled as a family for many years. And believe it or not, I started out playing I haven't always played piano. I started out playing the bass.
Huh? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was, Dad taught me a few chords on the bass, and
Yeah.
he played the guitar, and I played the bass. And till it got a little bit too heavy for me, and I decided I wanted to change instruments. So I started taking piano lessons from Randy Kahn.
Well.
Took piano lessons, and he taught mainly by ear, which was probably the best thing that could have ever happened. And just from being in different positions in different churches and
Right.
experiencing different things, it just kind of grew.
Yeah, and I think that's tremendous. You know, my cousin Lynn, she plays not by ear, but directly by what's on that paper.
The
She always
notes.
played like
Right.
that. I don't think we talked about it with Sean Hemmendollar. I don't think he ever took a lesson. And I
Right.
ain't sure if he ever played the same way twice. on everything either.
Right.
he would. I think about that a lot. But and you know, when you talk about songs, what do you look for?
Well, like we talked before, I look for simplicity. I look for a catchy tune. I look for, the words to the song. Believe it or not, when I listen to a song, the first thing I hear is the music.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of people they're opposite. They
Right.
go with the lyrics. I listen to the music. If it's got a catchy tune, then I go and then I pick up on the lyrics. So that's pretty much what I look for.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you can, I believe there's a lot of churches out there that would love to have. There's people out there that truly are called probably to praise and worship, maybe, and sometimes they all get gommed up in one big church.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and they feel like, as we touched on, well, I got to be faithful. Okay, when
Right.
sometimes it's a little selfish. I'm just going to tell you what I think, because I can do it at 66. You know, it's a little selfish of the pastor
To keep all the
to
talent
keep all
in
that
one
talent
right.
in one spot.
It
When
is.
there's a church out here that has 20 or 30 people
Right.
that really that you could touch those lives
Exactly.
instead of sitting there waiting on every 3 months when you get to sing a song.
Right.
That's just the way I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, and we think we're discipling sometimes when we need to
Right.
set them free.
Right.
And say
Right.
but there needs to be. But also, it's an obligation of those churches to say, you know, we're looking for a praise and worship leader.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I think that's what I did when I needed a praise and worship leader at the church.
Yeah.
I said, I need a praise and worship leader. And I asked you, I believe you, I asked
Yeah.
you to come in.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm looking for somebody to play music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't have anybody. I mean, you know, we were playing some songs.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think you got to ask.
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
absolutely.
And, you know, and you got to put that out there and say
Right.
that. Whenever I'm looking for somebody to do something, I know one time I needed somebody to sell some advertisement for me at the studio. And I said, well, I need somebody. And the guy told me about a lady that sold really good. And so I called her. She said, no, I'm not interested in leaving where I am. I don't want to do it. And I said, well, would you do this? I said, I'll give you $500 to have lunch with me. And I said, you don't have to come to work for me, but I'll give you I said, when we sit down, I'll give you $500.
And did she?
She did.
Wow.
Then I hired her.
Did you hear?
So if I was looking for a praise and worship leader, I said, will you have lunch? You know, because sometimes too, I think in positions in our church, I mean, you know, I don't think I ever got a salary being a pastor. I don't believe I ever did.
No.
But I mean, people, when you take, everybody needs, it does help everybody. We can call them a gratuity, but it's an offering. That
It
does
is,
help
yeah.
when you do stuff, and there
Right.
ought to be something there
Right.
that you can help. And you know, I don't like a church that gets so tight it squeaks sometimes
Right.
when it comes to things. I've always, you know, when I pastor there, I always want to have these hot dog sales and all this stuff. And I said, let me get out a pencil and paper, and I got it out, and I said, if we sell all them hot dogs, we've spent $100. We've made $190. I said, why don't everybody give $10 and stay home?
And just stay home. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't be so tight.
That's right. That's a good idea.
but I think about praise and worship and people that are out there maybe that feel like they're called into, because praise and worship is not gospel country.
No, it's
okay,
not.
it's a whole different part of that. And we all done songs. We used to have everybody get up and sing a song, it's all right to have people sing a song, but it used to be a lot different than it is now.
It is. Yeah.
You didn't get up with a soundtrack. You got Big Danny Reynolds with 3 chords on the guitar.
Yeah.
Okay, he got up and sang a song. And we used to have one lady. She come out as a service, and everybody dreaded when they seen her because she'd say, "I got a song," and she'd get her notebook.
Yeah.
That notebook. She's singing one and singing another.
Yeah.
Golly, man.
He's there forever.
Yeah, but church is where everybody can feel special.
Yeah, that's
okay.
right. That's
They can come in and feel like they've really, and we all are special. But I mean, it's the only place that you can really go to. Say, yeah, I got a song I want to sing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that freedom is missing in our structured atmosphere.
Yeah.
Okay, to where people wonder why I don't feel like a family.
Right.
And maybe the families get too big.
Right.
Okay. I was talking to Brother Steve, which I do not envy in any respect of having a pastor in a big church. I said, if I ever pastored again, I would cap it at 25.
Yeah.
Only 25 seats.
Yeah.
No. And I would have a very small building to only hold 25 chairs. 25 chairs and a bathroom.
Yeah.
And because you got to have a bathroom.
Right.
Everybody comes to church to use the bathroom.
Right.
And I've never seen nothing like that. But you ought to maybe have it outside so they don't go so much. But that's what I used to laugh. She said, everybody comes to church to go to the bathroom, use a case of toilet paper a week.
Yeah, right.
Golly. But, I think about how we, sometimes that part of it gets so big. And I know it all has a place, okay? Right. Big church, little church. But I forget what denomination. I don't know if it's Jehovah's Witness or who it is. It always split on 100.
Oh.
Yeah, And I think sometimes that we do get big. Yeah. Okay. And I know all kinds of stuff happens, and I understand. I'm not saying that's bad, but I wonder sometimes it's hard to, to do that and be so big if we miss it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think sometimes that's where, having small groups and doing things within the church, I think that helps. Yeah. Our church is growing, but we have our choir members and we have our ladies group and we have our men's group. So I think at that point, in our dinners, you do get to personalize and get to know everybody, and I think that helps. Because not everybody's going to get to see everybody on Sunday morning, especially as it grows. So. Yeah.
I like Andy.
I love Andy.
He's just a cool cat.
Shout out to Andy.
He really is cool. And I've watched him change a little bit because I remember back when he was at Barry Absher's church years ago. And he was a little standoffish then.
Yeah.
He didn't really like to be hugged or anything. I remember that well. I remember watching him because I've seen him a long time. I watched him. He didn't really like a whole lot of that, but he's always been. Kelsey and them really liked him and enjoyed him. When he was down at Claypool Hill, but they liked him. But he's got a real good, solid word.
He does.
He does.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's not junky. He's got a good, solid word. He goes in there and moves with it.
Yeah.
And I don't understand this generation in this respect, and possibly you might be able to help me a little bit, not much, because I don't know if you're part of it. I don't know about the X's and the Z's and stuff. Okay, why do they always have to have something to drink? I mean, when I was little, we didn't carry a bottle of water around with us all the time.
The big. You were forbidden to take anything to drink in church.
I mean, but the whole idea is. In real life, it seems like they always got to have that water bottle around them and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, we'd leave all day and go in the mountains, maybe drink out of a spring or something. But here they got to have all this drinking. And Janice went to a college the other day with Caleb, a college he was looking at. And she said, I walked in to the office there, and there was like 15 those big drink water bottles down the wall.
Oh, my
These
goodness.
people's bottles, where they had water bottles sitting up there. And I don't understand what it is with this drinking. I mean, are they really that underhydrated that they gotta drink all the time? Gee whiz.
I don't know.
Now, Jimmy Dickens called him that. But now I know what I do is I have to have. We do carry a little candy with us to church.
Oh, yeah.
In case Andy gets long-winded, we always have a little candy, and Janice will slip her hand over there, and then she'll say, two, and I have to give her 2 pieces. And I say, don't eat all the candy. I said, you don't know how long it's going to go.
That's right.
And then we get the candy you have to unwrap.
And it makes noise.
And then you have to wait till he's not looking. Like if he looks down, you put it in your mouth. You're going about your business. You don't want to catch you putting candy in your mouth. But he does a real good job. He's got a good solid word.
He does.
Been trying to get him in. I'll get him in for an interview. But he stays so busy. He's going to come.
Good.
And
Good.
I'm going to bring him in. I really interested. There's a guy on TV he looks just like, and I'll remember his name. There's this guy on TV. I told Janice Sunday. I said, you remember that guy off of? Did you ever see the series Bates Motel?
No.
There was a police officer in that series, and he had these dark like eyelashes and stuff, and he's sort of a demeanor, and he had all the mannerisms of Andy's guy.
Oh, really?
He would talk like Andy, and he would be, that way about him. And I said, there's the guy on Bates Motel.
I'll have to watch that now.
Oh, you'll have to see him. He's on there. I'll think of his name. But he's on another show. He's a surgeon now. But he was a police officer then,
okay.
but I watch him on another show. But I mean, I don't know, when we think about praise and worship and we think about life growing up, how everything's changed with the music, it has changed.
It has, yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes you look back on some things and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But there is some changes.
Yeah. We grew up singing Southern gospel. That was our niche, Southern gospel.
Yeah.
And me and Amy, we still make fun of the songs that we had that Mom made us sing.
Right.
Good childhood memories.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally have steered away from that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a whole different genre.
It is.
Is that the word I'm looking for?
It is, yeah.
It's a different genre. It really is. It's not like Jelly Roll. It's a little different.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Have you ever wrote any music?
Let me think. Once or twice, I think I wrote a little praise and worship song here and there, but I'm more of, I can sit down and put chord progressions together. Like I said, I'm not real big on lyrics, but
Right.
I can do the chord progressions. But
Yeah. I wonder about that. I've often thought about that, writing music.
yeah,
And
that is
that's
a
real
talent
gift.
all in
Yeah.
its own.
Yeah, it takes a whole different
does.
type of person when it comes to writing music
It
and
does.
sharing those type of things, and that mind to get in that mode, and go through that.
Right.
My Lord, I'm not creative in
No.
any sense of the word. I'm just not, But I see people that are,
Yeah.
and they're always usually a little crazy.
Yeah. That comes with the territory.
It's a thin
It
line.
does,
There's a thin line
Yeah.
between being really,
Right.
I've shared before, I'm not gifted, but I've always been called to manage gifted people.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
gifted people have to be managed,
Yeah.
whether they know it or not.
They have to be guided.
If not, they'll
Yeah.
be over here looking at
You're
the
right.
bright light,
Right.
saying, "What is that? What is that?" You know what I mean? And somebody who's not
Drawing
gifted,
back in, yeah.
somebody's not gifted's got to come along and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
Cassie,
Yeah,
come over this
come
way.
over this
Come
way."
over
Yeah.
this way."
Right.
And that's really good, though.
Yeah.
That's the body.
It is, yeah.
And it works together.
Yeah.
And so when you think about that, I don't know, I think about growing up. I think about our life growing up at the Church of God, and think about those things that changed over a period of time, and the journey you've been on.
Oh, yes.
Been a heck of a journey.
Yes.
Tell me about the kids.
My kids or my grandkids?
Yours. Your kids first.
My kids. I have a son who is, 19, he's 32.
My Lord.
Yeah, he's got 4 kids. And then I have a daughter. She's getting ready to turn 30.
Gee,
And
yes.
she has a dog. So I have 4 grandkids and a grand dog.
And a grand dog, I understand
So
that.
he lives about a mile from me, and then she lives in Radford.
Mm-hmm.
And she went to school at Radford, and then she just never come home. She loves
Well.
it up there. But that, ironically, now Gregory can sing, but he won't. And poor Rachel, she can't carry a tune in a bucket. If she knew I sang it, she'd be mad at me. But ironically, neither one of my kids really got the desire,
Right.
and that, But I'm thinking it's going to show up in my grandkids. Is
Okay.
what I'm hoping. It's going to skip a generation,
Yeah,
evidently.
yeah.
So you know, Scotty, I have 4 grandkids, and Mackenzie and Scotty, you know, she's getting in playing the drums with me. I've had to go, I've been playing since I was 16 years old, and I've hardly ever had a drummer.
Right.
And if you've ever tried to do fast praise and worship,
Yeah,
a lot of the drums carries a lot of the songs.
Right, yeah.
And so when she said, "Mama, I think I want to play the drums," I'm like, "Thank you, Jesus." I had to wait till I was 53 to get a drummer. But so she's took interest in it. Scotty likes to sing.
Right.
And then the other 2, they're really small right now. But I'm
Did
hoping.
somebody play the drums one Sunday at church?
That was my granddaughter.
Okay.
That was her.
All right.
Yeah.
I knew there was somebody who played the drums the first
She's
time.
just learning. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're trying to get her seasoned and get her coming out of her shell and get her more confident with it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, one of the most famous drummers in the country is from War, West Virginia.
really, who is that?
Mark Stutzo. Remember that name?
I know that name. I
Mark
think.
Stutzo. Go on YouTube and put his name
Okay.
in. Sings with the Nighthawks.
Yeah.
But he's a professional drummer.
Okay.
He used to teach me some, play the drums when I was just a boy in the basement of the store there at War, his dad's store. But he's a professional drummer,
Okay.
singer, songwriter. But just if you go on YouTube and put his name in, it'll come up.
Okay.
And he sang with the Nighthawks. He had a real health scare a while back. His sisters, Julie Stutzo, Teresa Stutzo
Yeah.
from here in the area, and Joe Boy Stutzo. You know Joe Boy, married from over at War.
That name sounds familiar.
And,
yeah.
But he's a famous drummer. He's
wow.
as great as anybody in the world.
Wow.
And he just, when you hear him, he just makes music with those drums.
Well, yeah.
And does lead vocals from the drums, you know. And he's a real good fella. I always liked him. Nice guy.
I have to look him up.
And he's on but you know, that drum is just a tremendous. I'd like to get one of them for my grandkids just to make my kids suffer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. My grandson got a lightsaber the other day. Colson bought him this real nice lightsaber. It's like Star Wars. And they have had themselves a hoot.
my
He's
goodness.
professional with it down the hallway. Now. He's got it all down pat. You know, I was in the first class that your dad taught at Big Creek.
Oh, really?
In the ninth grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Biology. I graduated in 77, 74.
Okay. I was born in 72.
Yeah, 74.
So,
Yeah,
okay.
I was in the
Wow.
and he taught biology over there. And he was funny as a monkey because he was real quiet,
Yeah.
cut and dried.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing exciting about it. He never got stirred up with nothing. He might get a little mad, a little bit, you know, but it was funny when he got mad. It wasn't like a mad like
No,
would scare you. Okay. But he was good. I mean, I didn't do any good because I didn't do any good. It just wasn't school. I had no interest in school. I didn't even like it. Did you like school?
No, I did not like school.
See,
No.
Janice makes me
Did not.
sick. She likes school.
No.
She talks about it with a glamour in her eyes. Oh, I just love school. And I said, I don't care nothing about it. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I don't know. Probably just lazy. I don't know, just had no interest. I just couldn't. And I couldn't. I was a little dyslexic, and I battled that a little bit for reading. And I was backward.
Yeah.
I never done one book report. The whole time I was in school, never stood up front. You know.
It's hard to believe,
I
isn't it?
never. I just wouldn't get in front of nobody. I mean, I walked down the back alley a lot of time going home because I didn't want to be in the street in front of
Right.
people. I just never always had that part of me. I was backward.
Yeah.
And I think I still am now. Janice says
Yeah.
I'm not. But anyway, she always talks about how much she likes school and all that stuff, and I try to get her to go back and do whatever she wants to ever do, but she keeps me straight, you know, and keeps everything. I couldn't do nothing without her. She runs everything. I never know if I'm broke or rich.
Yeah.
And, unless she says, "Don't use that card."
yeah, then you know.
I know I don't have any money today, you know, or she says, "Okay, it's all right now." Usually when our check comes in on the 16th, we're rich again.
Then you're rich again, yeah.
But I think about growing up, think about your dad and your mom. Great history there.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
He
really,
had the, I don't know if you remember, he did the Teens for Christ at Big Creek High School for years.
I don't remember.
And it may have been after you have graduated because He'd take his guitar, and about an hour before school, they'd all meet in the room. They'd have a little devotional, and he'd sing songs
Wow.
with them. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
it is. Yeah.
I mean, he just had your dad's always had a great spirit about
Oh,
him.
absolutely.
He really has.
Absolutely.
It conflicted a little with your mom's.
He made a great.
She was a little.
Should keep him straight. You know?
She told my mom, she said, we're going to make great friends because I'm a taker and you're a giver.
That's right.
That's what she said. Mom was telling me this morning. We were laughing. She was talking about her. She said, and she always counts her. She said, I'll never have another friend like that.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I said, well, okay. Probably better that you don't talk to her
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
That way you'll still have
They
a good friendship.
They might get into trouble too.
Yeah,
Might they?
yeah. You don't want them like that. But I think about growing up, man. It's a lot of fun.
It was
A lot of good
yeah.
stuff. And all the great ones, you can trace them back to McDowell County.
Oh,
I believe
absolutely.
that. If it's whoever you're
Yeah.
looking for, those roots, if you'll
That's
just
right.
hold on a little bit. I always told my girls when I said, when we get ready to get married, we'll go over there and find you a husband.
That's right.
It draws a good check. We'll run with it. But anyway, think about those kids, the grandkids. So you're going to have that one playing drums.
Yes. Gonna
So
have one
that
playing
will work
drums.
out
Yeah.
good. Okay. If you say there's somebody out there that's wanting, that feels like, and we shared this earlier, but we didn't go into it. If they do want to go into praise and worship, somebody feels like they may be led. They only got 3 songs and they know it can play them. I mean, what would you advise them to do?
Well, I was fortunate. I had good mentors everywhere I went. So I had, I would just say get in a church and find somebody that can lead and guide you. And it's not something that you learn overnight.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that's you kind of learn along the way. But hey, 3 songs is 3 songs.
Right.
I mean, to go with it.
Yeah. I think one of the things they should, and I'm speaking strictly from a non-musical point of view, they should find some place they can use their gift.
Yeah.
Okay? You can sit somewhere
Yeah.
and feel like and if you're not careful, you'll end up having to leave. If you're called of the Lord, you'll end up having to leave a church instead of choosing to make a change. All right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Say you're in a church somewhere and you decide you want to go to another church.
Mm-hmm.
What do?
Well,
Sneak out?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you'd pray about it,
Uh-huh.
make sure. But I've been there and done that, and I have been led to go elsewhere at a certain point. I think there comes a point where, and it's so ironic, but the last place that I was at, I was happy and I was thriving and as part of a team, and I just kept hearing God say, "I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out." I'm like, okay, where are we going?
Right.
And then things progressed, and I ended up back where I'm at now, and I couldn't see the whole picture, didn't know what was planned, and I think you just have to know when the time is right, and I've said this every Sunday when I lead, timing is everything,
Right.
and you just have to know in your heart where you're supposed to be, and just because it's a good church and good music and everything, I mean, that doesn't, there is a particular place where God wants you.
Right.
And I think you really have to be in tune with Him, and don't be afraid. And no territory it comes with it. So, that's where I find myself at now.
Yeah.
It's kind of, didn't ever think I would be where I was at. I'm
Right.
at now.
Yeah, and I think sometimes too, you can't. It doesn't mean you have to fail to
No.
move.
No.
Okay, it doesn't mean that's failure.
No.
That means you make a choice.
Right.
And I think that a lot of times people are scared to make the choice because and that's why they stay too long.
Well, it's comfortable.
Right.
Yeah, they don't want to move out of their comfort. It's
Right.
very uncomfortable going into a strange
Right.
place, a scenario. It is very uncomfortable because you don't know.
Right.
You can't see your hand in front of your face, so
Right.
you're not, and especially these last couple of weeks, it has been a day by day thing
Right.
with me as far as knowing where am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing? And it's just, okay, God, I'm following you. And it literally has been day by day.
Right. Well, I think what we do is that life has got chapters. Okay.
Yes.
It has many chapters, and we have to know that
Seasons
there's different times we just flip over.
Right.
And something else, and it doesn't mean things are a failure.
No.
It just means it's a new chapter. Okay. And this happens in relationships.
Yes.
This happens in friendship.
And people aren't always going to be supportive.
Right.
So if you're looking for somebody's permission, don't do that, because you will probably make enemies by making the choice that you feel like needs to be made. And so, you got to turn off the voices around you.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we got to follow the leading that God has for us sometimes.
Yeah.
And I've run into several things in my life the same way. You have to follow that.
Right.
And not everybody's going to understand it. And then sometimes people you think that have an opinion or have a thought, not thinking that much about you anyway in the end, and they don't understand.
No.
And it's not really even their fault. When we think about the children of Israel, the grumbling and complaining,
Right.
they just didn't see the picture, and they didn't understand.
Right.
And if they did, they couldn't.
Right.
That's why they didn't go. But there's times in our life I believe the Lord will move us. And I know that's what I mean when we move to another church.
Right.
Okay, that doesn't mean we've failed or we don't like them people or we're mad at somebody.
Absolutely not.
And I had two people at the church one time that come to me, and they were mad at each other, and they had been arguing with each other, and they said, "We're leaving the church." And I said, "Can't just one of you leave?" I mean, why did both of you have to leave?
Right, yeah.
One of them was the janitor, and I really didn't want her to leave.
Really
The other
didn't.
was a good tithe payer, and the other one was a janitor, and I was thinking, I hate to lose both of you at the same time.
Right.
But,
Right, yeah.
so sometimes there's people that, and I've understood that people, when you want to go, if it's something else, you feel like you want to
Right.
do something, we've
Right.
been lately, we like visiting different churches.
Right.
And then we stay gone so much. Like
Right.
in the after next weekend, we're gone for a couple of weeks, where we're gone and we're running and we're doing. And so that, we're not good, faithful people
Right.
at that respect. Okay, we're not the kind you want to count on, and that's what I told. I told Lawrence that one time when he was my pastor. I said, "Now here's the deal: I will pay my tithes and I will shake your hand, but I won't be here."
Right.
And I said, "I don't want to be a worker or nothing
Yeah,
like
right.
that," and it's just not where I'm at this point in my life. I'm pastoring my children and
Right,
and
right.
and that pastoring my family, and that's sort of where we're at different points in life.
Exactly.
And but I admire, the commitment you've got to make when it comes into praise and worship. That kind of commitment scared me to death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now
I love it though. I love it. I don't have any. That's what I told my husband when we first dated. I said, "No, I'm not afraid of commitment." He got this real funny look on his face.
I can understand. Yeah, I can see where that would make me say,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to change my phone number.
Oh goodness.
That would be but I don't know. I think about, you got to have it's not enough to have a goal. You got to have a system and a plan. Okay? And if you feel like you want to use your gift, you got to have a plan. You got to be able to say, I'm going to put this in place, and I'm going to, I want to do this, and that's the system and the plan I
Right.
want to begin to put in place. And I think there's people out there that can sing and do praise and worship, and they need to find some place they can use their gift, because they'll never get better at it,
Right.
if they don't use it.
Right.
And you can't use it, you're the third Sunday every other month,
Right.
and sort of get the hang of it.
Right.
I left one time. We went down. Went to Steve's up Destiny one time, and it was the old gospel Sunday or whatever they want to call it. People were singing. They got out the choir got up
hymnals.
there. I told Janice, this is pretty cool. We was getting into it, and they said, "Okay, 7 Sundays from now, we'll be doing this again." I said, Lord, we'll have to mark that on our calendar and come back. We enjoyed that. And I enjoy some of the old music. Did you ever get in Brother Hall services, Minnie? Did you ever-
Sometimes,
I
yeah.
got to think about, man, how Don Warren would get on that organ and
Oh, yeah.
could follow through with anybody. They'd get up there and people that couldn't sing a lick, or they'd have 4 words and a half a verse, and we just play with them and go on. And that was a challenge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, having to play behind people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shoo-wee. I think about that times. It was some good stuff.
Yeah, it was.
You didn't know it when it was there, though. It just. You remember Becky Kennedy? Do you remember her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now she could rock it. She was good
I
praise
do
and worship,
remember
wasn't she?
her, yeah.
Had sort of a gravelly voice, Becky
Yeah.
did. And she traveled with me a bunch. And she could play that
yeah.
organ, man. She could tear that organ up.
Yeah.
She would play that organ, and she was something else. I think about people that over our lifetime. Now, she was ahead of her time.
Oh, yeah.
And Sudie was
Yeah.
ahead of her time. I ain't sure where Sean was. Oh,
Poor Sean.
but I see him all the time, and I'm thinking, as Sudie though, she could rock it. And
Yeah.
praise and worship, and sing. She'd always get crying.
She would, yeah. I loved it.
She'd get moved to the spirit. She'd sort of get in her own place, and she would take off in her own position. But I enjoyed her, and that people that over the series that influence your life, and those kind of people probably
absolutely.
influence you more than you think about.
Oh, absolutely.
When you look back on things, because they were really ahead of their time.
Yeah.
And the Hillsong stuff was great, but she
Yeah.
was ahead of her time.
She was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you think about
Yeah.
it. What was the deal with the Hillsong thing? The whole move. What was it about?
I don't know.
Was it in the more of the music? I mean, the praise and the
You're
whole.
talking about just all the hill
Right,
songs.
right. I mean, that was a big move of revival in a way.
It was,
It had to do
yeah.
with praise and worship.
Yeah.
It just sort of focused on. It was a lot of praise and worship.
It was a lot of praise and
Yeah.
worship. Yeah.
It had revivals that went on for
Yeah.
ever,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, it was.
Ever,
Yeah.
ever. And, we got some moves now that seem like they don't have that kind of praise and worship. They have some songs.
Yeah.
Okay, people will step out and sing some songs. But I believe a good old God is an awesome God would stir up a couple
Oh, yeah,
thousand people.
absolutely. Yeah.
And come step out there and a little bit of music going on.
I think every great revival that has started was impacted from the praise and worship.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems that way, And
Yeah. Well, back in Brother Hall's services, he liked the good music before it.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted
Yeah.
He wanted it rocking. He wanted everything sort of moving, and he
Yeah.
liked the guitars and the drums playing, and everything
Oh,
sort of
yeah.
moving. And talking about the gift, I know Brother Hall had a gentleman that got saved, a young boy in his revival, and he got saved and come to the Lord. A gifted drummer. He was a real gifted drummer, and Brother Hall had prayed over him and told him to always use the gift for the Lord, and the Lord had gave it to him. He just gave him overnight the gift, and he could
Wow.
play them drums. And the boy got to playing in a beer joint, and walked outside on a Sunday morning, and lightning struck him, killed him. And you can say
Wow.
what you want, but the Bible said God will laugh at your calamities. Okay, He'll laugh at your calamities.
Yeah.
And there's times in life you don't want God laughing at you.
No.
And the gift is important.
Yeah.
It's to be cherished and
Oh,
taken care of.
absolutely.
And when it moves outside of that, I think you open yourself up to all these things that are this territory that's just it's not a good thing. Got to be careful with it.
And that's one thing that I've never had a desire to sing anything other than praise and worship. I've never had any desire to, Is there a lot of money in it? Probably not. I mean, so, if you're looking for fame and fortune, then you don't need to be a praise and worship leader.
Right. Well, I've always wanted to play country music. I've always thought about that. I told Janice why the Lord don't. I took some guitar lessons at the School of Rock at Myrtle Beach, and I learned something about the strumming.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really fascinating. That down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up thing, or whatever it is.
Right.
Pretty cool stuff. And I've got 2 guitars. Okay, but if I learned, I'd probably have me a cowboy hat, and I'd be down in Myrtle Beach on the boardwalk,
Right. Yeah.
singing a few Conway Twitties. Okay, I'm just being honest. Okay, I mean, I could see myself doing that, and I told Janice, I said, you couldn't be getting real close to me because you'd ruin my vibe.
That's right.
If I'm trying to tilt my cowboy hat, singing a good old Conway Twitty song, and not Elvis. I probably could sing maybe a few of those songs I could sing, but I think about that. That would be if I could play the guitar.
That's where you'd be, right? Yeah.
I don't have the commitment you have. Strictly to the gospel music.
Yeah, that's right.
I'd be throwing their beer bottles, breaking them. It would be terrible. It would be terrible. That's probably why I'm not gifted.
That's probably why, yeah.
Yeah. I told Janice a while back, we was talking about every time, if the kids say something, there's not kids, the grown-up people that she birthed, if they want something, she said, we get that for that baby. I said, that's not a baby.
Yeah.
That's an old kid.
That's right.
I said, the other day I got me an apron, a tool apron, really a cool thing.
Uh-huh.
Okay, because it don't pull your pants down.
Right.
You can put your tools in it, and it buckles around me. I can put my hammer and my stuff, and I keep up with my stuff when I'm working. And Colson come in and seen it. He said, I like that. She said, give that to him. I said, no.
Oh.
So then today I was looking on the Amazon. I said, we've got another tool apron coming, I see. She ordered it.
So she done
I
ordered
ordered that for that baby. She said, I ordered that for him. I said, my Lord. I said, it's a good thing we're not rich. But I don't know. You ever thought about being rich?
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Would you like to be it?
Well, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You changed pretty fast from I don't know. You were easy sway.
I guess because I know it'll never happen.
You don't know.
Well, I don't know. But, I mean.
What would you do? If you had unlimited wealth right now, what change would you make in your life? If today there was $1 million, Cassie, what would you change?
What would I change? I would pay off all my bills.
Could you pay off all your credit cards for that? Close.
Yes. Close. But you know what? I'd still get up in the morning and go to work.
Yeah.
Clean house and sing. I don't think I would change anything.
I would need more than $1 million. Okay. Well, the first thing I'd do is hire me some friends.
Would you? Okay.
Yeah, I want friends on a payday, on a payroll. And I want them waiting on the porch when I get up in the mornings. Okay? Think about this now, Cassie. What if you had friends? They were waiting on you. Hey, Cassie, how are you today? We got anything in mind special we want to do? Oh, yeah, get me a latte. You know what I mean? And then you come home in the evening.
That's what DoorDash is for.
Then I would get, if I won let's say the lottery money, not this other, not $1 million, but that 100 million thing or whatever it is. I buy those tickets every once in a while. If I think about it, I forget. I say, I better get one. I would get a billboard on 460 with my picture saying I won.
Would you really?
Yes, I guarantee you I would.
Wow.
Yeah, I would get T-shirts made saying John won. I would. I guarantee I would.
You'd have to hire people to wear them.
I want to. I got the money. 100 million. You think I can't hire somebody to wear my T-shirt? You had Connie making T-shirts. That's all she'd get done, is making those T-shirts for me. I think about that. But I do think about that a lot of times. Like, what would I do? Janice said, how would we know if we won it? I said, well, I'd be calling you from a disposable phone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I don't know. We think about stuff in life and ministry and growing up. And, man, we're so blessed.
We are.
You and I are. We're sitting so blessed. Just in the greatest country we've ever lived in.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, we're living better than 99% of the whole world.
Yes, amen.
Especially right. A little town we live in. We're so sheltered and blessed.
Yes.
And we just are. We are. What changes when you think about growing up? Have you seen growing up from just growing up in your life to now? If you looked at yourself 20 years ago or whatever, 30 years ago, let's put you at 20 years old, all right, and you see, what changes stand out that you've seen in this world we live in?
In this world? Good or bad? Or
whatever.
Whatever. I don't really.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen a change in the culture? People?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think no fear of God.
Yeah.
in some people. You know what I mean? Now, I do think there's a move in the land right now that
There
I
is,
recognize. I think there's a move of God in the land. Right? And young people, I see a move.
Yeah.
And men, I see men starting to. I think men have been beat down so much.
Yeah.
And demasculated. I think that's the right word. Emasculated, demasculated, unmasculated. Unmasculated. That, I see them starting to come back now.
Yeah.
They want to be leaders and providers.
Yeah.
And be men.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't think a man should have an earring unless he's a pirate. Okay? If you're going to be a pirate, you need an earring. Okay? I don't understand the whole nose thing. But that just changes a person's whole character, okay, with the loop through the nose. But I think the culture has changed, and it always has since the beginning of time. It's not the first generation.
No.
Things have changed.
It'll change 20 years from now. It'll still be changing. Yeah.
Exactly. And what about our phones? How's that going to work? I'll be glad when we can have them in our head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You won't have to answer. You just, okay, hello.
Hello.
You know what I mean? Morgan said, I was talking to Morgan yesterday. She said, I would sign up for that tomorrow. They'll put that chip in me. I'll take it. So I don't have to carry my phone. Oh. That's like yesterday when Verizon went out everywhere.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
Wasn't
Lord.
that? Yeah.
People were just having them, but not me because I got T-Mobile. Yeah. Everybody, I was just laughing at all of them. And, Morgan like had a heart attack because she does everything on her phone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All that stuff on her telephone. And she said, I can't do anything. She went into a Starbucks and Wi-Fi'd in and called us.
Oh, gosh.
Now, she was headed to the Verizon store. I said, don't go. Go on Facebook. It's out everywhere. They're all having a problem.
That's right.
And I can bet somebody was scrambling, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gee whiz. But the culture... It seems like there is a big culture change, and it makes you think of the world that your grandkids will live in.
Yeah.
I think about that with my grandkids and my grandsons. Yeah. What kind of world? I'm sure they'll adjust.
Yeah.
Just like my ancestors did when they got off the boat in Maryland, okay? And they make adjustments.
Right.
And everybody will adjust because there's things we talk about now that they have no idea what we're talking about.
Right.
If we laid out a dial-up phone, nobody would ever call anybody. And I tell you what, I don't know. I have trouble when I look at it, trying to dial the numbers and remember which ones I dialed.
Yeah.
That's a little
and then you have to start all over again because you can't remember. Yeah.
I'm thinking, I can press them, but if I'm dialing it, it's really harder to do than what you think, And I think that when they first come out with the cell phone, that big bag phone, I had one of those.
Oh, yeah. I remember
you could fry
those.
a potato on that thing, man. That put out the wattage.
Yeah.
But the culture's changing, and they, I think that the challenge is going to be with your kids and my kids and with their grandkids. We say we want them to have a better life than us, and but with no struggle comes no strength.
Right.
And sometimes we remove the struggle, and we have weak kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that, we protect them so much that they don't, they don't have to be strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I think that's the truth. I think we protect and I think of things that you did growing up and I did growing up. I mean, we could just take off and play all day somewhere.
Without shoes on.
Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
It was nothing. I can remember when I grew up, I got 2 pairs of shoes a year, school shoes and play shoes.
Yeah.
Okay, and when they wore out, that's what I had. I can remember getting water in my bottom of my shoes with a hole in them.
Yeah.
And putting cardboard in the bottom. And I can remember getting taps on my shoes to keep them from wearing out on the toe and the heel. But, growing up now, we sort of, we're such a plentiful world.
Yeah.
I mean, now we don't have to worry about this stuff, and we can just go through it.
Yeah.
And I think we're taking that struggle away from our kids.
I think that they still have struggles. They're just different. They're just different. When you look at the bullying at school and these kids are having to face things that we didn't have to face as adults, So I think the struggle's still there. It's just different.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What I see is a difference between boys, teenage boys, having girlfriends. The ones that I see, and I get to see with Caleb's friends, I get to see them, they don't have girlfriends as much as what,
Right.
I mean, I had 15 girlfriends by the time I was in high school. You know,
Well,
you would be in love 1,000
yeah.
times. But you don't, I don't know. It's like there's a standoff, like a barrier there
Yeah.
that they don't, I don't know if it's a face-to-face interaction that throws them off, or I don't know the answer to it.
Yeah. I do know.
Do you see that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Lord, I can remember I bought 4 engagement rings before I was in junior high, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, because
That was the thing back then, though. You grew up, you got married, you had a family, and
Yeah.
well, it's just like my daughter. She's going to be 30,
Yeah.
and she's happy with a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's fine. That's
Yeah.
I would rather her
Yeah.
have a dog than a husband.
Than a bad relationship.
Than a bad relationship.
okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And now, I see this on the, now on the internet, you can go on there and in the dating apps and sort of find somebody,
Right.
okay?
Right.
I'm not completely against it because it have somebody that likes what you like. Now, but there's so many people that are not who they say they are.
Right.
So there you are.
Right.
And I don't know how in the world people would meet people now that are not lunatics,
Right.
okay, and crazy people. So many crazy men out there and crazy women
Yeah.
that they're
I would be afraid to to do that.
That's what I
yeah.
mean. There they are in sort of a fix. I don't know how they do it.
I would rather
man.
stay single.
Know,
Yeah.
it just you're thinking.
Get a dog.
I told Janice a while back, we was talking, I said, if something ever happened to her, I said, I don't think I could trust another woman. I said, with my stuff, first thing.
Right, yeah.
I don't want no woman getting access to my stuff. Okay? And I said, I really feel like I would live more of a gypsy life.
Yeah.
I'd be in that camper, and I'd have all the kids have me a hookup in their driveway. That's where I'd be living. I said, I just see myself more as a long beard.
Right.
And maybe my hair be gray and hanging out a little bit. Just be going on the gypsy
Yeah.
life. I mean, I just, because I don't know, man. You don't know who people are now. You have no
No.
idea who they are. You can meet them and don't know who they are.
Yeah. It's scary.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
and then,
scary.
then it's dangerous.
Yeah.
You take if a man meets a woman nowadays, say he's in his 30s, and he meets a woman, odds are she's got children.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So now with those children comes that ex-husband.
Yeah.
So now he's got her, the kids, and the ex-husband.
Right.
He's got kids that are not his,
Right.
and he's got to raise them.
This blended family.
No, so there he is sitting there.
Yeah.
So gee whiz.
Yeah.
I think. And then when he does get married, he's got to know that he can lose half of everything he has.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So there it is, man. Gee whiz.
I was fortunate. I met my husband, and he never had any kids. So it was, and my kids are already grown, so we had a really good relationship.
Well, that does
that
work
was
out
the
pretty
perfect
good.
Setup.
Yes.
Perfect setup. Yeah.
It's getting the best of both
Oh,
worlds. There it
absolutely,
is.
absolutely,
I
yeah.
like that. I like it. Janice's kids are grown up. I admire that. She's got grandkids, but I don't know. They're old. My grandson's 18. He's 18, and the mother was 13 and one 5.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
so I mean, it's a real hoot. I got a wide range there, but we try to make sure we spend time together and do things
Yeah.
together.
I think family is very important.
It is. You got to make that happen, though.
Absolutely.
It don't
yeah.
just happen.
No.
Well, Cassie, I'm excited about things going on. We ain't going to talk about everything in your life right now. We're going to leave some of that stuff. But we're excited, Janice and I are, about you. I'm always proud of you. Anything good you do, I take credit for. That's all
When you
because
should,
of me.
you should, yeah.
That's all because of me. Yes. that was,
That's true.
When you don't do something good, I say, I dad burn Cassie. Can't believe she's like that. But the grandkids will teach you lessons. That'll be good.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to keep them a lot. Do you keep them much or have them?
When they, the 2 oldest ones, when they were small, we all went through COVID together,
Okay.
and the homeschooling,
All
and
right,
because their
yeah.
mommy and daddy worked, and on my days off, I only worked 3 days a week, and on my days off, Mom would help, and we, between the 2 of us, we got their schooling
Right.
in, and so they stayed with us quite a lot.
Right, yeah.
Quite a lot. Now, the 2 younger ones, they're home more.
Okay.
Don't get to keep them as much, but
Yeah.
the 2
now,
oldest
what were you
ones.
doing at the hospital?
Respiratory therapy.
What is that all about?
Well, we manage people's breathing,
Okay.
their lung issues. We
Right.
see, we manage, we do breathing treatments, we
All right.
run the ventilators. When COVID was a big time for us, we
Right.
slammed. So, we're all about, we have one
That's
area of we specify, and that's the lungs. Yeah, like just like the heart doctor, and the nurse takes care. They take care of a little bit of everything, and the respiratory we're kind of focused on the lungs. So,
well, that seems interesting.
It's very interesting.
It really is,
very
man.
Interesting, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff
very
going on.
rewarding at times.
Yeah,
very
it would
frustrating
be. Where
at
people
times.
when you see people get better,
Yeah, absolutely.
and see them start to get better where they can breathe.
Yeah.
And because when you can't breathe, man,
that's
really a bad day.
We're the first people they call when they can't breathe. Yeah.
And you feel like your whole attitude changes.
Exactly.
In a moment.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad, but like I said, life has got chapters and phases and places.
It does.
You get to move on with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in a month or two, when you get settled into things that you're doing now, we'll come back and talk about praise and worship a little more, because I think and come back and let you do a song or two maybe.
Okay,
that would be
that
cool
would be
to
wonderful,
do. I think that would be neat. And we can talk about it and then have you do a little bit of music and share.
I like
and
that,
encourage people and give you, I think that would be interesting to do that.
I like that,
You'd be good at that.
Yeah.
Be sure and tell your mom hi.
I will.
And your dad, I swear I get to laughing. he seen me the other morning. He said, "There's my friend." No, Sunday morning he see me.
Did he see? Did he recognize you Sunday morning?
There's my friend, he said. He said, and I said, "Sure enough, King." And I got talking to him. And then he lost something one time. I was keys or what he lost, something there at the place, and I found him, and I knew that was his. I knew there was, and I got him and hollered at him. He said, but life's not always fair.
It's not.
Okay? And stuff happens.
Yeah.
Okay? Just by the grace and mercy of the Lord. Mm-hmm. I think that all the time in my life, just by the grace and mercy of the Lord. I think about Mom over there. She's 84 and goes like a horse.
She looks so wonderful for her age.
Just goes on like it, Only thing she can complain now, she'll complain. It takes less medicine than I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And a while back, she wanted a new car, and her car has got no miles.
Oh.
It had like 5,000 miles on it, all right? I want a better car. I would travel more if I had a better car. I said, Mom, I think you're fibbing. And I said, well, drive this one a little bit first. I said, drive it. Mm-hmm. Just drive it. And she can drive perfect. She's come to Tazewell 3 times in 1 week a while back. So then I said, all right. So we was out driving. I pulled right in the car lot and said, let's just pick you out one.
Oh.
So she got in and had the big screen displays and all that stuff. And she said, oh, no. Can I get one without this? I said, no. And then a little bit, I said, why don't we just pay this car off? Yeah. And you won't owe nothing. And then later on, if you want it, and so we paid it off. And I said, she said, it looks better now, since I don't owe any money on it.
Yeah, right.
She was like a year ahead on her payments anyway. Yeah. And I said, when you get them paid off, they always look better.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
They do look better. Well, all right, what we'll do, we'll get you to come back.
Okay.
And we'll do a couple songs.
Sounds good.
I think that would be really good to do that.
Okay.
We'll drop it in there and bless the people and give you a whole nother brief. Thank you.